it is time. The worms are going to try to get away from the sunlight, so they're going to start burrowing deeper and deeper into the bins. And that's perfect because then I'm going to go in and scrape a couple of layers at a time. I've started breaking up the soil just to get the worms moving and to encourage them to start making their way down. Same goes for this section. So I'm just doing this gently. And as you can see, the worm castings are actually a lot more wet than I would typically like them to be. I should have been adding a little bit more paper. I haven't added water at all since I started these bins. The moisture from the vegetables that I feed the worms is enough to hydrate the entire bedding. Once the worms have started moving down, I take a few of the worm castings, run my fingers through to try and make sure there's no more worms in there, and then I add them to my bucket. And I'm just gonna keep repeating this process until we get all of these worms out of here. As I look closely, I'm noticing a lot of baby worms as well, which you can see right there. I moved this bin out here just so it could get a lot more direct light to encourage the worms to burrow down. This little section looks good, clear, and into the bucket it goes. I have a 5-gallon bucket full of worm castings and it is super heavy, you guys. It contains a lot more moisture than I typically would like in here. So it's really difficult to even carry it. And I'm not even halfway through. This is one bin that's still completely full and another bin that I'm still working on. To refill the bedding, I'm using a mixture of compost, peat moss, vermiculite, and then I'm gonna add in some shredded paper. Just like that, and I'm gonna mix it all together. I'm not filling them up as much as I did last time because they got far too heavy for me, so I'm gonna keep them a little bit lower and I'll just have to harvest a little bit more often. I'm not gonna add any water to this because this has a little bit too much moisture to begin with, so that should supplement the water that I would typically sprinkle over the top. I'm just gonna start adding my worms back in there now. You can see all those little guys there, and you can see how wet this is. That's why I'm not adding any more water to this bin. I'm gently going to cover them up, and then this bin should be good to go. And here is what we ended up with.